Hey guys, I get it when you're in charge of keeping a workshop or a small manufacturing floor safe. The last thing you want is to waste time and money on a label printer that looks good on the spec sheet but falls apart the minute you try to use it. I was just talking to a friend who runs a bike repair shop, and he was torn between buying a basic label maker and splurging on a full-blown industrial sign printer. He told me he'd already spent a few hundred on paper labels that kept curling, and he was nervous about committing to a device that might be more feature-rich than he actually needs. If you're in that same spot, keep listening. This is the kind of thing you want to know before you pull the trigger. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The Brady S3700 is aimed squarely at people who need on-the-spot safety signs, color-coded warnings, and durable labels that won't peel or fade under harsh conditions. It's not a home office printer you'd use for everyday documents. It's a niche tool designed for compliance-driven environments. Think factories, construction sites, chemical plants, or any place where OSH-type signage is a daily requirement. That focus gives the S3700 its biggest advantage. It prints directly onto the kind of high-visibility vinyl and polyester media that can survive oil, solvents, UV exposure, and even a bit of rough handling. So who should actually buy this machine? If you're responsible for creating or updating safety signage on a regular basis, the S3700 makes a lot of sense. For a small business that needs to produce a handful of signs each month, the ability to generate those labels in-house eliminates the lead time you'd otherwise face ordering custom signs from a supplier. The built-in XY cutter is a game-changer here. You load a sheet of printable media, print the design, and the cutter precisely trims each sign to size. No more hunting for a separate cutter or hand trimming with a scissors, something I've seen cause a lot of wasted material and uneven edges in smaller shops. On the flip side, if you're only looking to print a few basic caution, wet floor signs a year, the upfront cost might be hard to justify. The S3700 sits in a price bracket that assumes you'll be printing enough volume to amortize the expense. Also, the machine is built for specific label materials. Standard office paper isn't compatible, so you'll need to purchase the right media, which can be pricier than generic label rolls. If your environment isn't harsh enough to demand that level of durability, a lower-cost label maker could be a smarter spend. Now let's get into the day-to-day experience. Setting up the S3700 is surprisingly straightforward. You plug it into a power source, connect it via USB to a desktop. The software runs on Windows, which is worth noting if you're a make-only shop, and install the provided driver suite. The software isn't a Photoshop-level design suite, but it's intuitive enough that you can drag and drop symbols, choose from a library of safety icons, and apply color coding with a few clicks. The real value shows up when you start printing. The output is sharp, the colors are vivid, and the adhesive backings hold up to the kind of cleaning agents you'd use on a shop floor. A practical strength I've seen in real use, especially in a busy automotive garage, is the speed. Once the template is saved, the printer can churn out a standard, flammable material sign in under a minute, cut to the exact shape, and be ready to hang. That quick turnaround keeps workflow moving, and it means you don't have to keep a stack of pre-cut signs that become obsolete if regulations change. The cutter's precision also eliminates the uneven edges you often see when people try to cut signs with a utility knife. The XY system ensures each piece is the exact dimensions you specified. However, there are trade-offs that aren't always obvious at first glance. The S3700 uses a thermal transfer printing method, which is great for durability but means you have to manage ribbon inventory. The ribbons are color-coded, and swapping them isn't as simple as popping a new cartridge into an inkjet printer. If you run out of a particular color mid-job, you'll have to pause and replace the ribbon, which adds a small but noticeable hiccup to large print runs. Also, the printer's footprint is larger than a handheld label maker. Think compact desktop printer, not a pocket-sized device, so you'll need a dedicated spot on a workbench or a small shelf. Another practical weakness is the media handling. The S3700 accepts a range of roll widths, but the loading mechanism can be a bit finicky. If the roll isn't seated perfectly straight, you might see misaligned prints or uneven cuts. I've seen this happen in environments where the operator is rushing and doesn't double-check the roll's tension. A quick lesson here: spend a minute aligning the roll properly before you start a batch, and you'll avoid waste. From a cost perspective, the